listening to your statement, it's not clear what you are calling for. Are you, because there have been calls of calling off the elections or proceeding with the elections. Your statement appears to be vague, doesn't clearly state whether you're supporting elections to be held on Thursday or not, and what's the solution you are suggesting in terms of those who have opposed.
So, clearly, Kenya's constitution sets out a 60-day time period for a new election, and the Supreme Court ordered that on the 1st of September that the new election be carried out in 60 days, in other words, by the 31st of October. The parties are free to request an extension beyond the 60 days. There are, of course, several cases which are currently in court that would have that effect. Obviously, the question of an extension or not is a highly politically charged issue. And this is a decision which really, at the end of the day, belongs to the courts. Kenyans can go to the courts, ask for this extension, ask for it to happen. And if they do so, and if the courts grant it, we would be fine with it. We would have no objection to an extension in the timeline. But this is a decision that ultimately the courts themselves would have to make. Let me see if my colleagues have anything they'd like to add to that. Okay. Go over here.
Thank you. My name is Luca, which I write for the Star newspaper. I have two questions. Given the statement by Roslyn Akombe, the former commissioner, and the IBC chair, Chebukati, the following day, are you, as a foreign envoys, confident that this election is going to be free and fair? Are you contented with the preparation so far? And again, the Financial Times yesterday cited U.S. and Britain of being unhelpful in the Kenyan situation. They said you are just interested in quick fix with the disregard to a credible process. What's your take?
We are absolutely committed to a credible process. We are not interested in quick fixes or anything else. What we're interested in is a free, fair, credible, and peaceful election. We have called for changes in the wake of the Supreme Court decision to the IEBC's personnel and procedures. The IEBC has made changes. Ultimately, whether or not this election should take place on the 26th is a question for the IEBC, and it's a question if somebody goes to the courts or any of the existing cases are resolved for the courts. And we will be looking at the process that takes place whenever the election is held to determine whether or not we judge it to be credible. Obviously, we're going to take many, many factors into account. What's essential is that, again, the Constitution be respected and that the laws be respected here, and that Kenyans make the decision about how to proceed with this election. Comments from my colleagues?
I would just add that, as we said in our statement, the Kenyan Constitution comes out of a really painful period in this country's history. And there are ways of pushing the date back within that Constitution if the courts so decide. Equally, there is a Supreme Court order and a constitutional provision that says it must be done this month. Our point is you need to stick by that Constitution and those laws at that point and let that process work. You cannot operate outside it.
And I would just underscore as well my comment in the statement, or our comment in the statement, that it's essential that the IEBC take very seriously, obviously, the comments of the chairman, but also the comments and concerns which were raised by Roslyn Akombe. These are serious issues. They do need to be addressed. The proper place to address them in the first instance is inside the IEBC, and for them to make decisions, and for those who have concerns to raise them through the courts or through other processes and procedures.
And also, let me add one thing, that for those who try to portray the US and UK, you don't see only the US and the UK here. There are 20 ambassadors signing. There is a common position that we are proposing to you. So there's a solidarity of a much wider group, including all the ambassadors that are here and the others that couldn't turn up, but whose signature you will see on the statement.
Thank you. Yes.
Zinzi Kibiko with KTN News. You've mentioned the issue of Akombe resigning. Our flagship